Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. In today's video I'm going to be swatching on my arm and also creating on my eyeballs an eye look with the brand new Revolution Forever Flawless palette. This is the Y2K Dreamer palette. They've just brought out a whole Y2K collection and I decided to just pick up the eyeshadow palette from it, so we're going to be playing with this today. It has been the longest time since I even tried a new Revolution palette, let alone one of the Forever Flawless ones. These used to be one of my favourites, so I'm interested to see what this is going to be like. I picked this up on Beauty Bay. They do have it on other websites as well, but honestly I have next day delivery on Beauty Bay, so I got it on there. Okay, so this is what the outer packaging looks like, and you can see the reflection of my ring light there. Like, it's a really reflective tin packaging, like it's metal packaging, it's really substantial. Then the back looks like that, just with obviously all of the information, and then inside, ooh, it looks like that. So we've got like pinky tones, purpley tones, lots of shimmers, obviously pastels. Like, obviously it's coming into springtime, we were going to get pastel palettes coming out, but also I feel like this is so early 2000s, like the pastels, the shimmers, like the chunky glitters, the blue, so pretty. I also feel like some of these are definitely going to be not just shimmers, like they're going to be a slightly different sort of shimmer formula than perhaps we've seen before. So like I say, I'm going to zoom you in, I'm going to swatch this, and then we can create some sort of an eye look together. How about that? Okay, so starting on the top row, first up we have got Era, which looks like a sort of champagne-y shimmer. Very foiled, very smooth looking, that one. Then we've got a matte which is called BFF, which is basically just one step darker than my skin tone. Let me just go over that one again, obviously because it is so incredibly light, but that's like my perfect sort of transition-y tone, just something to put in the crease. Then next up we've got Power, which looks like the iciest, whitest, brightest inner corner highlight sort of a shade. That one is so reflective, definitely more like a topper, Power, than Era. It's definitely got a sheerness to it, but really reflective. Then next up we've got a beautiful shimmery icy blue, which is looking quite sheer. Let me just go over that with a second layer. Yes, it's subtle. It's, again, it's almost like a topper where it hasn't got a lot of colour to it, but there's definitely that like icy blue undertone to it, and that one is a shimmer, and that one's called Gal. Then next up we've got Bedazzle, and again that one felt really like I'm properly digging into this on my table, and there's just not a lot coming up on that one. It feels chunky as I'm swatching it, and that's not really giving me a great deal of anything, and that one's called Bedazzle. Bit of a tongue twister. Then next up we've got Sugar, which is beautiful. So that is almost like a silver duochrome sort of. It's got a pink shift to it. I hope that that's showing up on camera. It's so hard to see on my little viewfinder if that's showing up. I think it is. It's got like a pinky undertone to it, but it's silver. So that one's called Sugar. Really pretty. Then starting onto the second row, this one feels so smooth and creamy and incredibly pigmented. That one is called OK, and it's almost got like a rose gold ness to it. That's really pretty. Like, you can almost see where it's blending out a little bit more at this edge, where it's going a little bit goldeny, but it is pink. That's a really beautiful shade. Then we've got Y2K, which is like a bright pink, purple, sort of a duochrome. Again, this one is a little bit sheer as well. I mean, the pigment's there, it's coming, but it's not as much as this one. Again, a little bit like a topper, just not really giving me the most. Then next up is Love, and this is another one similar to that OK shade, this one, where it feels really creamy, like as I first dug my finger into it to get that pigment. Yeah, I just feel like that is a lot more impactful on the first swipe than this. Like, this one is more like a shimmery, almost like a foil texture, whereas this is more like a satin. I think that's where the differentiation, is that a word? I feel that's like where it is, where some of them are like shimmers, or even this palette I don't think has one, but more like glitters, and then more just like satin, ever so slightly luminous finishes, but less so, more subtle, and then obviously matte. Then next up we have got Mood, and these next three I feel like are going to be that sort of slightly sheerer, topper sort of satiny finishes, where they're a lot less sparkly, a lot more subtle. So that one was called Mood, which is like a white to pink sort of a shift. Then we've got Crush, which is almost giving me nothing at all. It's a silver, but it's not even really building up to very much. Very, very subtle. Then we've got So Hot, which actually in the pan looks very, very similar to Y2K, and I feel like once this is blended into my skin a little bit, they are going to be identical. They are very, very similar, Y2K and So Hot. Basically the same shade, could have done without one of those perhaps. And then moving on to the last row, this shade here is called Baby, and as suspected, again, is very similar to Y2K and So Hot. It's a little bit more red, but it's basically just a sort of hot pink shimmer, and again a little bit sheer, a little bit not very reflective. However, the next shade, and I don't really know how to say this, naughties, it's just 00S. So that's what this one looks like, and that I could feel like as I swatched that on my finger that that was going to be a beautiful creamy bright gold, and indeed it is. That is giving so much pigment. That swatch would have carried on for days. Like, there's still product on my finger there. So pretty, so reflective, but also really nice and smooth. I like that one. Then we've got a matte hot pink, or like mid-tone pink, and this one is called Peeps. Ooh, and that is more pigmented than I was expecting. We'll just go in with a little bit more just to help blend that out. So, really nice bright pink. That's pretty. And then if I just roll my sleeve down a little bit more, we can do the last three. So we've got this shade here, which is a matte lilac, but it has little white micro glitters in it. And we'll just do a few layers, obviously because it's so sheer, because it's so light, sorry, it's almost coming off sheer. Can you see that? A little bit. It's light and it's not all that pigmented. Then the next shade is called Babe, and this is a turquoisey sort of a shimmer. And again, it's really not giving me very much at all. Like, this is, I would say, the darkest shade in the palette, and it's really not giving me very much at all. Like, it's, yeah, it's doing it, it's building up, it's fine. It's not amazing. It's smooth and it is nicely reflective, but it's not like really packing a punch. However, this last shade, I can already see on my finger that this is picking up beautifully. This one is called Fly, and if I just make sure that I'm in frame when I swatch this, look how incredible that colour is. I mean, look at my nails. Of course, this is my sort of a colour, but again, it is very light. It is reflective, it is very bright, but I do feel like this colour's, it's difficult because obviously this is a pastel palette. I get that. I can see that this is a pastel palette. Would any of these colours, apart from maybe this one and this one, show up on a deeper skin tone than me? Probably not. And that is where my issue lies. Like, yes, this is pretty and it shows up a little bit on my skin tone, but I am Casper the Ghost, so like, it's like swatching a colour on a piece of white paper and then painting it onto a dark piece of wall and expecting it to be the same. Does that make sense? Like, these aren't going to show up the same on deeper skin tones, and 90% of them, I would guess, aren't going to show up at all on deeper skin tones. Like, this isn't going anywhere on a deeper skin tone. Like, you'll get the reflection, but you're not going to get any of the colour in a deeper skin tone. I'm a little bit underwhelmed. I had higher hopes. Like, I have other Forever Flawless eyeshadow palettes. I have some of the other ones that are in this like tin packaging. Like, the packaging is beautiful, it looks beautiful, but like, it's just not giving what I really wanted it to. So I'm gonna try and create some sort of an eye look with you today. Let's just see how this goes. So I'm gonna start, as always, with a big fluffy brush, and I'm going to dip into that BFF shade, that one that I said was just going to be a transition for me. I have already got the Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer on, and what brows did I use today? The Catrice, what are you, eyebrow stylist pencil, and of course the e.l.f. Wow Brow. So I'm just going to take that BFF shade on a fluffy brush and start working that into my crease. I have no idea what I'm doing today. I'm also not leaving the house today, so we can just play. I'm honestly looking at this palette now and I'm like, I don't know what to go in with next, because that shade, as pretty as it is, like, it's done its job. It's gone through the crease, it looks absolutely fine. I'm not mad at that colour at all. But that is the only matte colour, because even that buff shade on the bottom row, that lilac one, has those little micro glitters in it, and I'm not going to use that after I've just used that. Like, where do I go next? I don't even know. I feel like I need a little bit of direction. Like, what do I want to do? I think I'll go in with this one and just accept that I'm going to have a glittery crease, which isn't generally what I like to do. But let me get a brush and I will just dip that into that shade, which is called Baby, the bottom corner, and this almost feels creamy. Like, it's picking up on the brush and it looks a little bit creamy, so this might work out okay. And I will just keep that more so on like the outer corner and just blend it into what we've already got going on. I do think I want to go down more of the like purpley route. I really like purples and lilacs and things, so I will try and do something a little bit like that today. Okay, so that's not actually showing up too shimmery like through the crease, and I feel like where that is a little bit more creamy, it has blended out really nicely. Like, I've managed to still keep it quite subtle. I mean, I wasn't going to get very much more than this, but I managed to just use a little bit and like blend it basically right out. So now what? Like in the pan, that is one of the darkest shades. I know it's a pastel palette, I know that. So I think I will go into, I'm like, what do I do? I'm thinking I'm just not very inspired by this palette anymore. When I bought it, I really was, and now I'm like, I just don't know what to do. So I will go in with that same brush into So Hot, which was this one, which again doesn't really look all that shimmery, but that's more of a powder finish, so maybe I can get something that looks a little bit different. So just for reference, I'm properly swirling into this, and let's just see if I can make this anything. Hello? Anyone at all? No? Okay, so what I've just done with that So Hot shade, because honestly I've been sat here for hours, or it feels like anyway, I got that on my finger and I tapped that on and then just blended out the edge to get this insane amount of pigment on my eyeballs. I don't like it. So, now what? I want just like a shimmer to go across the inner sort of half. What do I want? Maybe that blue. I know I said I wanted to do something brighter, something more purple, but see, that's a nice amount of pigment. But where is it in the rest of the palette? I am feeling like this blue is saving this eye look, truly. Like, I'm just tapping that on with my finger and then blending out the edges, but not too much, not going over it too harshly, just ever so slightly tapping that out. And I really like that blue. The purples, not talking about, but I do really like the way that that has like blended out. The blue looks really like vibrant against the purple. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up under the eyes. I'm going to do a wing, I'm going to do mascara, I'm going to do the rest of my face, and then we can come back and we can decide, what do I want to do under the eyes? What would I have done in Y2K? I don't know, I can't remember that long ago. Be right back. Okay, so that is the rest of the face done. Honestly, I don't even know what I want to do under my eyes. Maybe just the same, and I might put that bright blue like right onto the inner corner. Let's just see. I'm going to go back in with the same brush. I'm going to dip into that baby shade, the one that bottom corner that was almost creamy, and I will run that along the bottom lash line. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Lower lash line. That's what we call it. And honestly, I think I will just really smoke that out and just have that there, and then put the blue on the inner corner. So that's just that all blended out under the eyes, and I'm going to take a really tiny little pencil brush and I'll dip into that same blue, which was called Gal, and I'll pop that right on that inner corner. So I've just made sure that that's like really nicely blended in with the blue that I've already got on the lid, and I like how that looks. I think I will take this same brush and I'll dip into the one next to it, which is called Power, which was more of a white, and I'll just target that right on that inner corner, just so that there's a little bit of a brighter pop right there. I just realised that I absolutely have not done my wings even a little bit similar. Honestly, I'm ignoring it. I hope that you can as well. So I think I'm done. I will just put a little bit of mascara, which was, oh, I've just hit myself in the face with it, was the new one from Revolution, the Wispify False Lash. Mascara, I have a full day wear test for this mascara. I love it. If you're wanting to treat yourself to something new from Revolution and you're deciding between, I mean, I don't know what this scenario is, but if you're deciding between the mascara or the eyeshadow palette, get the mascara. Okay, so that is my final look, and honestly my final thoughts are there are much better pastel palettes on the market than this. If you are wanting a roundup of the best pastel palettes, do let me know, because I'm more than happy to like put together a video and maybe swatch a few, try a few on, so that you've got a roundup of like pastel palettes that are better than this one, because I am honestly just a little bit underwhelmed with this one. Yes, this blue was beautiful. I managed to make that work, and the white bright shade that I put right on the inner corner that was next to it also managed to make that work. I'm a bit underwhelmed by all of the purples. Like, yes, I've managed to make a look out of it. I've managed to make a perfectly acceptable look out of it. I'm absolutely fine with how this looks, but it took me a long time. It took a lot of layers to build up. I would say that this isn't the quality that I remember the other Forever Flawless palettes being, because I really liked those. Genuinely really liked those, and this one I struggled with massively. So let me know, have you tried this palette? Have I just de-influenced you from spending your money on it? I would love to know, and let me know if you want to see like a pastel palette roundup, because I've got a few that I really like, so I'm more than happy to dig all of those out for you as well. But if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already and you like this sort of content, testing all of the new makeup releases that are all affordable and all cruelty free, I would love to have you in our little corner of the internet. I'd love it if you would subscribe down below. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.